Welcome to Page to Screen, the podcast where Nikki and Christina discuss books that were turned into movies and films that were adapted from books. As always, we do remind you that spoilers lay ahead. Now, we invite you to decide with us the age-old question, which is better, the book or the movie?
Hey, everybody. In honor of the upcoming holiday, Christina and I decided to take a dive into Aunt Joe's scrap bag for an old-fashioned Thanksgiving from part 6 of Aunt Joe's scrap bag series by Louisa May Alcott. Christina, how you feeling about this? How you feeling in general?
Whose idea was this?
I think it was both of ours.
I think it might have been mine. I don't know.
I definitely, I don't know anymore.
Why did we do this? I like how scrap bag just equates to trash can. A trash can is a scrap bag.
That's what I'm gonna start calling it. It's like the bougie way of saying trash can. Just throw it in the scrap bag.
I'm good. How are you?
I am ready for this.
Yep.
So, I guess there's nothing else to do but dive right in.
Yeah, let's go.
So, for those of you who decided to join us on this journey, first of all, let me say I'm sorry if you read it and watched it. I think we're both
my sincerest apologies.
This was not the Thanksgiving gift we wanted to give you, but it's COVID times and it's all we could afford. Yeah, so
a free short story on the internet.
The gift that keeps on giving. So I think I can speak for both of us when I say that this is the last Louisa May Alcott story we will be giving the people. I mean, I can't say that 100%. We might have a lag somewhere and we need to give you guys something. But God, I hope this is the last one.
Do you want a surprise right now?
Uh-oh. Are you going to tell me that you want to do more of these?
No. I liked this. I liked this.
Okay. All right. Before we get into that scrap bag, so yes, this is another Louisa May Alcott special.
Yep.
It was published in 1897, and it goes in conjunction with the Little Women series, and it's basically written as if you were reading a story that Jo would have written for her sisters. And it's basically a short story about like a group of plucky kids who try to host a Thanksgiving when they think their grandma is dying.
Yep. Yeah.
Now that that's out of the way, I'm sorry, you like this? What? Tell me more.
Listen. Let's get a couple things straight.
Okay.
Okay, I don't like fluff. I'll get straight ahead to the movie part too. I'm not a huge fan of Lifetime and Hallmark stuff.
Yep. Oh, I know.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I know that sounds surprising. You would think that Halloween would be, but Halloween's my favorite holiday season, and Christmas is my second holiday season. But my favorite actual holiday is Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving, and it doesn't matter who you are. Stuff's a little tough right now. It's like, even if you're doing well in your personal life, whether your job's going well or you're having a baby or you bought a house or whatever, the world's just kind of like a dark place. And I'm finding that my little hard heart that doesn't want always to accept silly little lighthearted things is opening up a bit. And I just found myself reading this, and it's very short and very light. And I'm just like, I think it's kind of cute.
It was. I will give it that. It is quick. It is light, and it is cute. But there are some things in this short story that threw me for a loop. I'm sorry, they almost killed a kid who pretended to be a bear.
They almost kill a kid, but then I love the idea of, because these kids, the parents go away for the sick family member. They want to, which this echoes the beginning of Little Women, where they end up getting Marmee Christmas presents. So the kids are working together to correct this holiday that will be not so great because of tragedy. So they're trying to basically make Thanksgiving dinner. And the part that had me cackling was that these children decide to kill a turkey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
Can you imagine being like 12 years old, like just going out, I'm going to go kill a turkey?
And for some reason, I recall them being there's like a lot of kids.
There are, yeah. It's a whole pack of them.
There's like 7 kids in this house for some reason. and it's sweet. It's very, very sweet. Like the idea, I've always been one of those people who loves the idea of pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and doing what you want to, like doing what needs to get done to make other people happy. It's that Judy Garland, let's put the show on in a barn situation. And and I was like, you know what, kids, if you can do it, you can do it. And I don't know if they did it.
Oh no. They fail.
It's, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. I honestly don't. Oh my God.
Well, you don't know where to begin because there is no beginning. This is just, it's a thing. It's a couple pieces of paper that exist, have been forgotten by time. And there's scraps, yeah. And there's a reason why time has forgotten this short story.
I don't think it has forgotten it, though. When this idea was birthed... Okay, let's go super far back. We record in advance so that we have something for everyone. And this was something that was brought up because we were like, what can we read around Thanksgiving? And it was either like dysfunctional family books or this.
I pulled up Google on my phone. I typed in Thanksgiving movies, and an old-fashioned Thanksgiving popped up. I saw it was a TV movie. I know that someone I know really enjoys TV movies. It's their candy. Yep. So I thought, I wonder what this is from. And then I saw Louis Bay Alcott. Like, holy shit.
It's like you cursed me. I think we cursed ourselves. I feel like she's going to come back to haunt us at least once a month. Every 2 months, she's a new story.
She's a period.
Hi, Aunt Jo. It's just like, oh my God. It's, so I did the research on this because I was like, I'm sorry, that's not a real thing. And I believed Christina because I always believe in Christina. And I saw it. And there are websites dedicated to all of these other stories and how it ties into Little Women and how you could piece together, like, Joe might have been writing about this when this was happening. And it's like, oh my God, people. I thought Jane Austen fans were something, but this.
So it's the Alcott MCU.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Each of these branches off. They all connect.
Wow.
I know. So yeah, this has some we might not have ever heard of it, but there are some people out there who are like, this is a thing. So once again, apologies to all the Alcott heads out there, whatever you guys call yourselves, all the Little Women's. Wowee. Wow.
When does Spider-Man show up?
I didn't make it to the bottom of that scrap bag yet. gotta keep pulling. And the thing that gets me too is that Louisa May Alcott wasn't that big into doing Little Women.
Right.
And then think about how this is called Aunt Joe's Scrap Bag. Like, it's like doing a reoccurring sketch on SNL.
Yeah.
You don't want to keep doing it, but they're going to keep paying you the money to throw something together.
A scrap bag and cash grab rhyme.
Ooh.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, we did it. We went there.
I was curious when I read this. There's the... I'll say this too. I, as much as I hate to say it, I am very easily emotionally manipulated. When I watch like a trailer for something, I'll get goosebumps.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Yeah. The one year, and this is the one. this is my rock bottom. One year I was putting up our Christmas decorations, which is one of my favorite days. Again, this ties into Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is on a Thursday. Since I was a little kid, you have Thanksgiving on Thursday, and on Friday you put up your Christmas decorations.
Oh, interesting. I put up my Christmas decorations the minute Santa is shown on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
as soon as you see Santa, that's the official start of Christmas.
I agree. And my husband Carlos does too. So the Friday after Thanksgiving is when I will put up our Christmas decorations. I'll throw on Christmas movies, holiday music. It's a nice, fun day for me. And there was one year where I was in the middle of doing that, and I had up a holiday baking championship. And it's on in the background, so I'm not really paying attention to it specifically. But there was this really cute girl who was baking, and she burned her cupcakes. And then she looks straight into the camera, and she starts to cry, and she says, "I lost the spirit of Christmas." And I started crying.
Oh my God.
And my husband Carlos came out of his studio, and he like looks at me, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "She lost the spirit of Christmas." So it's very easy for me to, even though I want to pretend like I'm hard and I only like dark stuff, like
9-inch nails forever.
Yeah. I'm crying at Holiday Baking Championship.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they don't show the commercial anymore, thank God. But there was that commercial with Frankenstein where he would come down. It's the Apple one where he came down off the mountain and everyone was all angry at him and stuff. And then that little girl gives him, oh my God.
Yes. Oh no, yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh. Now, are we going to cry on this?
No, we can't. We can't. We're strong. We're strong. We're strong females. Listen, we've gone through a lot this year. If we do cry on this podcast, we deserve it. Yeah. But I don't want to cry. But yes, that commercial ate me alive to the point where when it was on TV, I would have to get up off the couch and go hide in the bathroom because if I watched it, I would cry. And there was one instance where it showed up and I was doing something. Oh, you know what? I was with Jesse's sisters, I think. I think his whole family might have been here. And that commercial came on and I'm just like sitting there while one lonely, like crybaby, one lonely teardrop coming right down my face. I was just like, please don't look at me. Please.
See, but okay, you've got the one lone crybaby tear. I ugly cry. Like when I watch Highlander and it's the scene, I can't even talk about it.
Oh my God.
The scene with his wife and lighting the candle on her birthday.
We're not talking about it. We're not going to talk about it.
I will grab a pillow so that I can hide my face. I don't want to be seen. I ugly cry.
I mean, I ugly cry at every Disney movie, specifically the ending to The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
When she says, "I love you, Daddy," and then the music swells, kills me. And then
it does to me too.
We're not even gonna look at Coco. We're gonna put Coco in a corner, and we're not gonna discuss it.
Oh, Coco was devastation.
I made Jesse sit with me because we see every Disney movie in theaters. I made Jesse sit with me in the theater until everyone left because I couldn't stop crying. And I cried the entire walk home. Like, full on bawling. My face was so puffy from crying that I was like, I'm pretty sure we got home and I was still crying. I think I stopped when I went to bed. Like, it ate me up inside. But, so, yes, to that point, I feel you on the holiday emotions.
I just, this little short story, it's silly, it's fluff. There's, but I don't know. I found it to be cute. And I liked the idea of these kids getting together on their own to try and make something out of nothing for their parents. There's something about the human condition where people are shit all the time, but sometimes when something bad happens, you actually see the best in people.
Yeah.
You and I both have experienced people dying in our families, and every single time that has happened, you get the flood of food delivered to the house.
Oh, yeah.
People, send cards and call, and it's like, people talk about fair weather friends, but I think that there's a lot of bad weather friends.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, and this short story is so full of heart. Like,
yes.
And you know what? The thing that I found interesting about it is that this story was not long to read. It takes maybe if you read slow, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah. I was going to say it took me about half an hour, and I am I'm not like a slow reader, but I will stop and start in the middle of stuff if I need to look something up. So usually it takes me a little bit longer. But
this, even for a story of this length, it had more heart than some chapters of Little Women. And I know that sounds awful, but there's a whole chapter on Meg's two kids.
Yeah. You hate those kids.
I did hate those kids. And you know what? Apparently Greta Gerwig did too, because they weren't in the movie. They didn't get their own thing in the movie, did they? No. They were there and gone. Bye. But I'm kidding. I love children. It sounds disingenuous when I laugh.
It sounds very disingenuous.
No, okay. Serious time. It does have a lot of heart, and I think it's that old mentality that you should go out of your way to help those in need. And these kids, their grandmother, it's their mom's mom, I think, and they're told...
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, their dad gets a message from some guy in town who tells them, oh, she's not doing well. And they immediately set off to go see her, and they leave the kids at home. Bad parenting. They leave these kids alone
I was wondering
at home.
the same thing. I was like, you're not going to get a babysitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in addition,
what's the worst that could happen? They might accidentally kill each other or kill a turkey.
They might kill the neighbor boy who's pretending to be a bear. It's just a very sweet idea that these kids, they knew that their parents, no matter what the outcome was, they were going to come home and they were going to be tired and they weren't going to be very happy, and they wanted to continue to bring joy for the season, which is so sweet. I think that's a very sweet thing to do, but overall, I did not want to read this, didn't want to watch the movie. I was just like...
And that's valid. That's very valid. I understand your opinion.
Yeah, it was just and for those wondering about the bear, so these kids, mind you, these are kids, and the way it's written, it makes it sound like these kids are 12 and under.
Yeah.
Right? They're young, and they're making a full meal. They make pudding, which curdles, apparently, and they stuff a turkey with catnip. Is that what they put? Instead of other herbs, they put, catnip and some other stuff in there. They did their best. I mean, if I were in their position, I would probably not know what to do, too.
Well, there's this story that my dad likes to tell about when I was a kid. They got me one of those, really little, very little. They got me one of those little kid, kitchens that was fake and had, the little plastic bowls and mixing bowls and the little plastic oven. And I'm like, well, this is legit. So I went into the pantry and I grabbed, Cheerios and Fruit by the Foot and Gushers, and I mashed it all in a bowl. And I invited my parents for a lunch, and they thought that they would just be sitting at the table eating like fake carrots that came with, the kitchen. And I passed them 2 bowls with this garbage. And I'm like, now you eat it. And he's like, and then you forced us to eat it.
That sounds like what Buddy the Elf eats for breakfast.
Exactly that. So I feel the kids.
Oh, that's sweet. That's so sweet.
And not only would I have done the same thing, I did do the same thing.
I think it would have been sweeter if at the end of the short story it's just the parents who come home.
Yeah, I agree.
Because here's what happens, folks. The kids are left alone, and it snows, and some of the kids go outside to play in the snow, and the other ones stay home to make this Thanksgiving meal. A neighbor kid in full fur coat chases the kids who are outside, makes them think it's a bear, to the point where one of the kids goes and gets a gun and aims it directly at said kid, nearly murdering him. And then when they find out it's another kid, they're just like, oh, it's you. Like, no, you could have murdered him. What would have happened if that girl didn't notice that it was their neighbor kid? That kid would have been dead.
It's Brandon.
I can't wrap my head. Like, I'm sorry. That's something that's going to live with me for the rest of my life. This kid almost died. But at the end, after all of that, because they invite that kid inside after he terrorizes everybody, pretending to be a bear, everyone, you find out, spoiler alert, Grandma wasn't dying. It was just the half-deaf guy who didn't understand the message. That she was fine. She was doing well.
Which is such a weird out for that plot twist.
It's it was a way to make sure that everything ended happy. Like, oh, she wasn't dying. She was fine. Yeah. And now the entire family is in your house eating your catnip turkey. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy.
When Grandma came back and she was doing fine, I was so happy.
I was happy too, because I would have been miserable if the kids were like, we're going to have this great Thanksgiving. Everything's going to be wonderful. And Mom and Dad come in and they are miserable.
Grandma's dead.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey guys, Grandma died. Oh, you made a turkey. Thank you.
Part of me wonders, I don't know if I want to go down this route. I don't know if I want to do this to myself, but I'm curious if perhaps for me personally, Alcott is a little bit more palatable in short stories.
Oh, I think she definitely is. I'm
curious. I'll probably seek some out and try.
I can put the link in the description for this episode where I found a website that has the entire Aunt Joe's scrap bag collection.
Did you read some other ones?
I looked at the titles. And let me read some titles to you. By the way, this is from LouisaMayAlcottIsMyPassion.com. So this woman is definitely not going to listen to this podcast anymore.
Oh, I hope not. And if you do, I'm glad that you have someone like Alcott that gives you happiness. So please don't think that we're mean to you.
Like, there's different things. Like, Volume 1 has a story called Our Little Newsboy. Volume 2 contains a book called Shawl Scraps. And it's divided into 6 parts named Of, Brittany, France, Switzerland, Italy, and London.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's, apparently those are all stories from, Louisa's, like, grand tour of Europe. So I imagine those would be stories that, like, Joe would have written for Amy.
Yeah.
Because it goes along with a lot of the places that Amy went to.
Yeah, right.
Volume 3 has a story called Cupid and Chow Chow.
My 2 favorite Pomeranians.
And then, let's see, what's in Volume 4 has the autobiography of an Onimbus. Volume 5 has Jimmy's Cruise in the Pinafore. And also How They Camped Out and My Little Schoolgirl. there's also one just called Clams.
Could all of these be porno names?
Yeah, especially with Kitty's Cattle Show.
Oh, no.
And in Volume 6, there's also Poppy's Pranks and What the Swallows Did.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. Volume 6 is the last one. So we've skipped all of them to come to this for everyone listening.
Whew, whew.
Yeah. What the Swallows Did. Cupid.
Well,
it's I would call it a grab bag, but we all know it's a scrap bag. So this is exciting. But yeah, I find her prose to be easier to digest in a short format.
Do you want to switch over to the television film?
You mean the 2008 Hallmark Channel original movie?
Yes.
I love made-for-TV movies. I love Netflix Channel original movies. I love Lifetime Channel original movies, especially if they're based on a true crime. I live for it. I love that the Hallmark Channel does it an entire month. And by an entire month, I mean they also do it in July, because that's when Christmas also happens, apparently. I love all of these movies. Except this one. And to say I love all of those that's a little overkill. There's a lot of really crap. There's a lot of crappity crap out there, but like I enjoy them.
Well, when you say you love, it's like I love bad movies.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching a bad movie, but that doesn't mean I love The Howling 2. That just means I really enjoy watching it.
Exactly. I will sit down on the couch and watch these and like it's a Christmas Prince that came out a few years ago. Love it. Why? It is so ridiculous. And that's what you need in a made-for-TV movie, especially when it's set around the holidays. You need something ridiculous. And going into this, I was like, how are they going to turn this 20-minute long short story into an hour-and-a-half movie for television? And if they cut the kid almost getting shot because he was dressed as a bear, I will be livid. And guess what? They don't follow the story at all.
It has nothing to do with the short story, really.
The only thing they took from it was the title.
Yeah.
And did you read what IMDb's description of this movie is?
I know I did, but I don't remember it specifically, so please let me know.
This had me rolling because you've seen the movie, so you know what it's actually about. So I'm going to read you what IMDb says, and then I want you to tell the people. IMDb says, inspired by a short story, Isabella Cladwell is a high society woman in the late 1800s New York. When Isabella's estranged daughter Mary becomes ill and is too proud to ask her mother for assistance, Mary's daughter Tilly contacts her grandmother to plead for help. Isabella's arrival causes upheaval in many lives, but may also lead to reconciliation within the family. That's a bold-faced lie if I've ever read one.
That is someone who saw screenshots of this movie and went, I know what it's about.
That is bananas. I was like, I know someone didn't actually think that this was from the perspective of the new person who comes in 20 minutes into the movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's...
What? No, so the funny thing about this movie is that the idea of the short story where it's a bunch of kids and they take it upon themselves to try and put on Thanksgiving is completely ruined by the plot, which is that a daughter reaches out to her estranged grandma who's rich so that she can get some money.
Yep.
I mean, that's what this is. And sure, you can put it to a certain point of view where the mom is perhaps too proud. So, why not kind of get over yourself and reach out to the grandmother? But just the idea that the daughter's not taking it upon herself to make things right. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a thing where it's like the mother didn't even know.
Yeah.
The mother had no idea anything. Plus, the mom wasn't sick. The mom didn't get sick until halfway through the movie. To say that is a major plot point in the description of the film is laughable. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, so
that's bananas.
Tilly comes off as like a Joe-esque character.
Very much so.
But she is not a Joe. She's not a Joe at all.
Not.
She's very much like if Joe and Amy were the same person.
Yeah, I think that's a good perception. It is she's got personality traits of both.
Yeah. And she's like she wants to be a writer, which is evident by the letter that she wrote to her grandma saying that her dad had been kidnapped by gypsies.
Okay. Okay.
Just
that's like 15 seconds in.
That's during the opening credit.
So, can I paint a picture right now?
Absolutely. Go ahead, right, Bob Ross.
So I basically gave myself a mental health day. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to read this little story, and then I'm going to watch the movie. And we bought some Campari because we were curious. We never had it. So my husband and I made a Negroni. It was the first time I'd ever had a Campari or a Negroni. So I put it on a little table, get my little cozy blanket up, and I'm watching this movie. I take a sip of the Negroni and I hate it. And then she says, kidnapped by gypsies. I've never been more confused in my entire life. I'm like, I'm sorry, what is going on in my life right now? What is this thing in my hand? What is this Campari? And what is she talking about, kidnapped by gypsies? They don't make it clear that she is that she's exaggerating and trying to get, the emotional pull from her grandmother that is estranged. I was so confused.
I can tell you right now from my notes, for the first 3 lines of my notes, I kept writing, what is happening? Over and over. It's like The Shining for me. It was like, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Because until maybe like 5 minutes into the film, I still thought they were going to follow the storyline of the short story.
Yeah, I did too, because she's writing to her grandmother. So I'm like, okay, so maybe there's some sort of relationship there, I guess. They played me for a fool. They did a big old, they zigged when I thought they were going to zag. My goodness. They follow nothing from the short story. Nothing.
I also have in my notes, why did they need to make the grandma a stranger? Because I still thought they were following the story. But yeah, this Tilly, who for the longest time I couldn't remember her name, so all my notes say New Joe. And then I do have written, New Joe is not a Joe.
Well, and by the way, so New Joe is played by Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah.
Who, for those of you who watched Orphan Black, she's all of the characters in Orphan Black. And she's actually really funny. She's been on Comedy Bang Bang, How Did This Get Made? And she just got cast as She-Hulk.
Yes.
So
which I'm super excited about.
I am too. And I think that her casting is very interesting. So I was excited when I saw that. And that news got announced like the day after we decided to do old-fashioned Thanksgiving. So I'm 1,000% certain she got cast because of you and me.
I think so too. I think we gave her the boost that she needed.
Yeah.
We did the research and someone was like, I wonder who's trending on IMDb.
You're welcome.
Yeah, give us some of that Marvel money. But my goodness. Yeah, when you think about her being all those characters in Orphan Black, it really does make sense that she is both an Amy and a Jo. She's
Right.
like Jo with an Amy rising, I would say. She's definitely, because she's a writer, and they make that evident by the fact that she's apparently writers are lazy. She's never up when she's supposed to be up. They like to sleep in, and you know, she spends all of her time not doing work. But she's definitely an Amy because she really wants to elevate her status.
She does.
She's very much about getting in touch with her grandmother for money purposes, not for family purposes.
Right.
And that upset me a lot because when you go back to the short story, it's full of heart and like, oh, we love our family so much. And then you go to this and it's like, my dad's been kidnapped by gypsies, send money.
What did you think about her relationship with that guy?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is another situation where she's definitely not a Jo.
Right.
I disliked it so much. So much.
Does she call him Lord Sticky Wicket?
I think she does. It's weird. Their relationship is so bizarre because they act like young teenagers, young kids. And
Yeah.
yet he just came back from being in London for like 5 years.
So strange.
He's gone for 5 years. They haven't seen each other in 5 years. And spoiler alert, by the end of the movie, they're engaged and she doesn't want to be a writer anymore.
Well, that echoes the, what was it, Professor Bear stuff.
Yes.
With, like, she says she's not going to be a writer anymore. And then, like, the grandmother or whoever says that they're going to pay for her to go to college and she's going to be gone for, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll still be together. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's going to find a duke or a lord or a prince. Bye. Like, she can do so much better than you. Dude.
Yeah.
Because he was very weird about everything, too, because her dad is actually dead. He has not been kidnapped by gypsies.
He's dead, though.
He's dead. He's in the ground. You know, he's 6 feet. He got crushed by a tree. I'm sorry. He got crushed by a tree.
We're laughing way too much in this episode.
because we're trying to pull granules of like sand from this, like it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, trying to find the point to make this thing happen and to do it in the way that they did. Like they could have easily just done the actual short story. They didn't need to insert drama and romance in this because it goes against everything that Louisa May Alcott wrote in Little Women.
It's the point. The point is gone.
Yeah, you didn't have to have romance. Those girls were independent. They found romance on their own. Now you're telling me that this kid, who's been gone for 5 years, comes back and within 3 days, he sees her in a ball gown and now he can, now you're accepted into society. Now we can be wed. Marry me. And she says, yes.
Well, at first she says no to him and she says, and I love this line, I'm telling you, I kind of like this movie. She says, I'm only at the beginning. I just loved that.
That was good. But
see?
I will admit that was good. But then she reneges on all of that. She's a flip-flopper. Yes. And I think that's what bothered me so much about this movie is that you go back to Little Women and they were strong in their convictions. You knew what they wanted. Even though Jo knew she was never going to become a famous writer, she decided to open a school so that everyone could learn to write and to read.
Yeah. This
girl is like, I'm just going to give it up. I'm going to go travel for a while, but I'm just not going to be a writer. It's like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. What? Where's the strength in these characters? The only character who had any strength was the mom. And even then, her strength was her downfall, which none of the women from Little Women had their strength be their negativity.
I did like the part when the grandmother sees the kid and she says, it's advisable not to spy. In some countries, they gouge your eyes out.
Oh, she had every right to say that to that little boy, too. Every right. If I had a little sneaky peek like that in my house, I'd say the same thing. That was great. And when she arrives and her carriage is broken and everyone's in the street going, all these dresses in the street. Like, that's not for taking. That's a woman's luggage.
Listen, shit was crazy back then.
I don't know how you do things now, but in my day, a dress in the street is yours.
You know, at the beginning when it's the little boy who I definitely felt a little bit of a connection to because he was a little bit neurotic and has this like super long list of everything they need to do within the next 2 weeks in order to prepare for Thanksgiving, which is absolutely me. It's like, well, we need to buy this and we need to buy that and we definitely need to buy all of this at least before Friday, before Thanksgiving, because the crowd's going to be crazy. Like, yeah. But then he gets up and spills the flour all over himself and on the ground. And I'm like, ooh, we're in quarantine right now, bro.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All I'm doing is baking. Do not spill that flour.
Oh, yeah. He spilled that flour everywhere. And my first thought was, this is like the 1800s. You just wasted $400 in flour.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, your family's poor. And that could have made, like, biscuits for days. Like,
biscuits for days.
Like, what is your problem? I also really liked, I will say, one of the things I thought was really cute about the movie was they put emphasis on, they spend a lot of time putting emphasis on how they're, like, they can't really afford to do a lot and all that stuff. But because they couldn't, the mom was very much like, but we can have something that no one else can have. We can create this beautiful tablecloth. And it is something that we'll always have, where everyone else will have Thanksgiving for one day. We're going to have it forever. And I was like, that is just the gosh darn sweetest thing.
Yeah. Like,
that is making, turning lemons into lemonade right there.
That's the kind of stuff I love, though. That's the, I'm not a very religious person, but I do find that with holidays, there are these kind of like, I don't know, very heartwarming, hopeful things between people and stuff like that. Just, I don't know, it just rubs me right. Yeah. Like I really like it.
But on the flip side of the mom, when she spills the family tea, I was living for it. There's this great scene. They're like, people, okay, from my understanding of this, they were well off. Then the dad died, and they became poor, and people looked down on them, except for their landlord, whose son is the boy we've been talking about for some reason. Right. And then when her grandma shows up, everyone finds out that the mom is actually the daughter of this famous, like, textile manufacturer or something. Or tea guy.
The details in this are so ridiculous.
Yeah, it got weird and muddled. And then everyone's like, oh, we can accept you into our coven again. You can be our friend. And in the middle of this, like, tea party situation with the wife of the landlord, who is now no longer in mourning, which was a very weird thing to throw in there, too. She storms into the house and is like, Mom, did you buy my house?
Yeah.
Like, what? And then the grandma's like, let's not discuss that here. And she's like, oh, we're going to talk about it. And she just goes and telling, apparently the grandmother only had Tilly's mom to secure the inheritance that her grandmother is using now on Tilly and on everybody. And it was like, oh, this is wild. Like, where's my notebook?
It really is like a script that existed already, and then they realized that they could just slap the name
Yeah.
an old-fashioned Thanksgiving on top of it and like tweak maybe just a few things here or there to sell it as something else.
Oh yeah, definitely. This feels so soap opera-y.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this was definitely like somebody had a script for Dark Shadows and they were like, we take out the vampires, we add in the author of Little Women. We got ourselves a movie.
Yeah.
Because everything happens so fast.
Yeah.
It feels like grandma's there, and then she convinces everyone to have a ball.
So weird.
Yeah, and then they have a ball. Tilly gets engaged. They have Thanksgiving. Mom almost dies, and then it's over. Right?
Yeah.
That's basically all the main points.
You done got it.
Like I just don't. Oh.
One little tiny, I guess, MacGuffin that had me so confused was the Lord Byron statue in the snow.
You mean the one she stole from that house?
Yes. Yeah. I love Lord Byron. Lord Byron is like he's one of those poets that I'm just like obsessed about, and I was like weirdly obsessed with Lord Byron when I was like 14, and I'm looking at them right now. I have like a whole collection of his poetry and stuff. So I always get kind of excited whenever he's mentioned in movies or TV shows. And I'm watching it again with my Campari and with the gypsies who kidnapped her dad and a lot of confusion. And then she like steals a freaking Lord Byron statue. I'm like, what is going on in this movie?
And
then she's like praying to it.
I was gonna say she starts speaking to it like.
It becomes a false god. It's like she has a little shrine to Lord Byron, and I don't understand it because it's not like what he wrote about really meshes with what she's going through or anything. It's strange.
And they don't really. It's not like she's quoting him.
Right, exactly. They kind of do a couple lines, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like she's quoting him all the time.
Yeah, it's not. It's so out of context with everything else that's going on. It's like they were like, okay, Tilly's a writer. Who can we associate her with? And how can we get a statue of them as soon as possible? Because it felt so bizarre. And then later on she has that weird angsty teenage girl moment, and she picks up the statuette and just throws it in the snow.
As if it did something to her.
Like, yeah, because it didn't talk back. It's just, I feel like there was other scenes that got cut.
I agree, yeah.
Oh, I also really enjoyed, like, there's little nuggets in there that I really was happy about. I really enjoyed the tea party shopping scene.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love a good makeover.
Yes.
And I love to go shopping. And actually, that scene really reminded me of my Nana.
Aww.
Because my Nana would...
Nana.
Like, when me and my brothers were little, my Nana, she did this thing where she was like, we could each have one day with her to do whatever we wanted. And my brother Seb went and saw Hocus Pocus with her when it came out in theaters, and that's how long ago this was. And I can remember saying, I want to go shopping with my Nana, and that scene reminded me of just like being able to go in and pick out clothes and try everything on. And Nana loved having tea parties, so we used to go to like the tea houses, and that's what that reminded me of. And I was just like, oh, I loved it. And then I remembered that the guy was there though.
Oh yeah.
Time. That was weird. Like Girls' Day, like but with him.
He's like a Lori that won't go away.
Oh my god, he is. It's like they tried too hard to make him a Lori.
They did. I feel like in that scene though, like you need to have a Roxette song playing in the background.
Yes.
Like as a do a nice little montage.
Oh yeah, you need something fun and upbeat, super poppy. What song would you pick right now? Like
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh, see, that's a good one. See, my mind went blank as soon as I asked you, and I was like, Walking on Sunshine.
Well, Walking on Sunshine has bad connotations with American Psycho right now.
Yes. Yeah, so we're not going to talk about that one. We're going to cut that one for this. But yeah.
No, you and I are bad about we ask each other questions and immediately we know nothing.
We're so smart if people don't ask us things.
Listen, as long as you don't give me a test, I'm intelligent.
Yeah, I can say anything I want, but when you ask me to say it, what? But yeah, no, I think, oh God, there was just so much of this movie that I was just like, the Byron thing threw me, I think, the most.
Yeah.
And like, there's, you know what else really threw me too was there's a guy who works for the family, and they do it because he lost his hearing in the war, so he's deaf, and he's deaf and mute, I guess, because he writes everything down in that notepad, and he has a wife and kids, and his kids get really sick during the span of this film, and then he gets whatever the kids have, which is the same thing that the mom gets when the mom gets sick. And he dies, and the thing that... I don't want to laugh, because he was a really sweet character. When Tilly brings all of the Thanksgiving food, because she goes to the house and picks up all of the Thanksgiving food as soon as she finds out that he dies, and her grandma Isabel go to the house to deliver all the food, and she's like, I am so sorry for your loss. And the mom goes, we lost him long before this. And I was like, and she doesn't say it in that way where she's sad, where she's like, it's okay, we lost him long before. She's just like, oh, Tilly, it's okay, we lost him. It's fine. Thanks for the food. What are you girls doing?
Thanks for the food.
It is such a weird flex for the character to say it like that. And she's also, like, not really in the movie anyways. But it was one of those things where it happened and I stopped it and I was like, I'm sorry, is she happy he's gone? Like, I was like, wait, what is happening?
See, and that whole, like, storyline completely rips off of the Beth storyline, too.
Yeah, 100%. Everything in this movie, you could find another part from Little Women in.
Yeah.
Like, the writing with Joe, the wanting to be accepted with Amy, the next-door neighbor boy who's richer than you, who's in love with you, Lori. You know, Beth getting sick, which is now the mom getting sick, and the neighbors who have the sick children are the neighbors from Little Women. Like, the whole thing, the rich matriarch of the family who's estranged but kind of not. You know, it's like, you could have just done a made-for-TV movie version of Little Women for Thanksgiving, Hallmark, and people would have watched it.
Its category is Little Women.
It's like...
But make it TV.
It's like the epitome of, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but make it look a little bit different so we don't get caught. Like...
Yeah.
It's like, cool, we have Louise May Alcott's Little Women, and then we have, an old-fashioned Thanksgiving.
And the title, too. An old-fashioned
Yeah.
Thanksgiving? I mean, had we really been doing Thanksgiving for that long when this came out?
No. I'm questioning it now, because it's not really... The movie doesn't give us a time period.
It's a vintage Thanksgiving, if anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know. I just feel like old fashioned. It's. I mean, I guess it was like 100 years or whatever, but.
And that's the other thing too. The title of the short story being an old fashioned Thanksgiving makes sense. You have a bunch of plucky kids getting together to try and feed a family, which I imagine at the first Thanksgiving, you know, that was a thing. I mean.
And kids try to kill their kids.
Oh yeah, definitely, all the time. I mean, duh. Oh, fun fact. At the beginning of COVID, my mom and I got really big into our family lineage. And we can trace ourselves back to the first Thanksgiving, so you're welcome.
Brag.
What? Humble brag. This isn't a celebrity name drop. This is a holiday name drop. Humble brag. But yeah, so, I imagine it's that idea of having to pull a meal together in celebration. Whereas the movie,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving happens in the movie, and it is a blink and you'll miss it scene. And the food is great. It's not this crap food. There's no catnip in their turkey. The little boy didn't make it. I thought, because there is that part, the mom is sick at this point when they have Thanksgiving. And the grandma is too busy taking care of the mom. And Tilly was gone because of her engagement. Like she just pieced out for a while and left the middle child, the other daughter, and the tiny little boy to deal with creating a Thanksgiving feast.
Yeah, and isn't the younger sister's name Prudence?
Yeah.
Isn't it Prudence? Yeah, okay. I was having major Prudence vibes when it's that moment where Tilly is out and she's having, her dramatic moment, and Prudence comes out and she's like, "Hey, I'm doing fucking everything.
Oh yeah.
Don't be sad about yourself." I was like, "Oh, yeah, good."
Yeah, because Tilly comes in and is like, "Everything's a mess, blah blah blah." And Prudence is like, "I'm sorry. You get to sleep in and pretend to be a writer. I take care of the house. I am making Thanksgiving. I am doing it all." And it was very much like, I wish the movie had focused on Prudence.
Agree. I thought the same thing.
Because it's true. Prudence is the one who's really holding stuff together when you think about it. We're following Tilly got to go on a shopping adventure. Tilly's going to Europe with Grandma. What's Prudence going to do?
Yeah, Prudence is cleaning up bedpans, and Tilly's praying to Lord Byron.
I can imagine Prudence standing by the water pump outside, washing out her bedpan. She sees Tilly in the woods, and she's like, "Really? Couldn't you just once? Just
Are you kidding me?"
Really? And Prudence has this great monologue where she's like,
"Yes,
that's where I got slightly there was a tinge of emotion when Prudence and Tilly have that argument where Prudence is like, "Father always took you out to the woods," and Tilly's like,
yes,
"Well, you don't like the woods." And Prudence says, "How would I know? I never got to go." And I was just like,
yeah,
oh my God,
yeah.
Oh man, right in the
I liked
feels.
that one too.
There are some good zingers. But a few good zingers does not a good movie make.
Yeah. Did you know, I was very confused once again by a lot of the establishing shots that were just paintings.
Yes.
What are we doing here, guys?
I don't know. I thought we were going to zoom out and be at someone's house.
You can see where the budget got cut.
It just felt, it felt like it was put together with duct tape and bubble gum. That's the best way to describe it. It is and I'm sure other people, anyone listening to this, or other people out there, I'm sure that there are people who have watched this and felt the emotion and the heart and the love, because, in the end, there is a reconciliation. The mom gets better. She understands, that her mom's always going to look out for her. And then Tilly goes off to Europe and she's still engaged to that stupid kid. So I'm sure there are people out there who are like, I love it. It's sweet. It's cute. It's palatable. But it just feels like forced emotions.
Sure. Yeah.
Whereas I think maybe that's where with, made for TV movies, you're going to laugh at these and you're going to make fun of it. And this one I felt tried so hard to be so overly emotional, because Tilly has a lot of emotional outbursts.
She does.
She hears the morning after her grandma arrives at the house, who she's never met before. She's like, "You don't know anything about my family." And then 2 seconds later, "Shopping." And then it's like, "I can't take any of these. We can't. We should just give them all away. We're going to a ball." It was like, I'm sorry. are we back in Fight Club? Which one of you is Tyler? And which one of you is Tilly? Because I am getting whiplash following your emotions. So I feel like there must have been something cut in between some of these scenes.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't feel, it feels disconjointed, and it feels like there's some sort of plot point that's missing. And also that perhaps certain scenes are in different orders than originally intended.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably the biggest thing. I think that there's a lot of stuff that feels disconnected because it doesn't feel, it's not in the right, like somebody spliced it wrong. Like, there's
some Steve in the editing room doesn't know what he's doing.
Come on, Steve. The only other thing that really bothered me about this was in the party scene when the Grandma Isabel and the mom are finally having a conversation, like face to face, about a lot of this stuff where the mom's like, we don't really need all of this. We are happy. And that's what we need, is like just to be happy. We're getting by. And then all of a sudden it's just like, Tilly fainted. And she apparently faints because her corset's too tight. And I have seen a lot of period pieces. I live for costume dramas. Her mom rips open the back of that dress in front of everybody at the party. Everybody got a view of that corseted back while she's unlacing it. And I'm like, yes, the first thing you should do is to try and like get her breathing again. But to rip open her dress and then expose her undergarments to everybody, wow, that's a bold move. And then literally seconds go by until he's like, I think I'm gonna stay. Like, you just fainted. What is like, that's another. Well, I'm like, what?
But when she gets the corset put on and they're like, why tie her up? To keep her parts in.
Oh, yeah. What? It's like, what is it? I don't know. I forgot about that line.
I cannot stress my confusion. Me sitting on the couch, my little blankie, which, by the way, it took me like 3.5 hours to watch this movie because I kept falling asleep. I was like, I got myself too comfortable. So,
it took me 2 days.
No, I was so, what?
It took me 2 days to watch it because I had to stop because I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, maybe my subconscious was like, we're shutting this down.
Hard reset.
Yeah, and my husband Carlos came down at one point, and he sees me on the couch, like, lying completely vertical, blanket on, in my pajamas, cuddling with my dog, and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I was watching a movie, and he's like, you're asleep. You're clearly asleep. This was deliberate.
I didn't even let Jesse watch this one, because...
Oh, no, yeah, Carlos didn't need to be involved in this.
This was one of those ones where I was, like, toying with Jesse. Jesse has watched all of them with me so far. And I started it and immediately got to Kidnapped by Gypsies and was like, I'm going to take this in the other room.
No, but the to keep her parts in line with the corset, I did one of those like, what?
And for anyone wondering, I was not having a Negroni. I was completely sober. And this was like the first... Both times I watched this, I was completely sober, and it was still so confusing.
Yeah. Hey, the Negroni was not the part that was confusing me. I mean, I was confused by the Negroni because the taste is so weird, but yeah. I was of sound mind.
With a Negroni, because I used to get Negronis confused with Aperol, like Aperol spritzes, because they're about the same color. All it takes is 2 times to get that confusion, to be like, oh no, I know what I want, and I want an Aperol Spritz, and I want it now. Get that Negroni away from me. Now we're going to have Negroni fans mad at us. Louisa May Alcott fans and Negroni fans. Sorry. I don't know if there's anything else we can say.
No, I think we've reached the end of the road.
Actually, there is one more thing to say. the film does connect the short story at the very end. When Tilly leaves to go to Europe with her grandma, which just feels so sudden. It's not even Christmas yet. It feels like they just had Thanksgiving, and then 2 days later she's leaving to go to London.
Right.
She gives her mom the book version of an old-fashioned Thanksgiving. But did you see how thick that was?
Yes.
Did she put like one word on each page? I can't. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with an old-fashioned Thanksgiving. I'm going to tell you right now, I would definitely recommend the short story. Especially now.
Me too.
Now that it is the season of giving thanks, you know, and being with family, definitely read the short story. And, like, you know, it's kid-friendly, you know, so I think it's good.
Yeah, I would recommend the short story over the movie.
Yeah, it's... I mean, sometimes we wonder about the lasting legacy of this, and I can tell you right now, none. Except for Louisa May Alcott is my passion.com. Oh, bless.
Well, it's been a lot of fun
Yeah.
talking about this with you, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and I know that COVID has really sucked a lot of the fun out of everything for you, for me, for everyone. So I hope that this is a time for you to have fun with your husband and your dog and, you know, any family members that you can socially distantly see at this time. And I hope that everyone listening has a great Thanksgiving. And I think, Christina, you should tell them about our holiday gift the next episode.
Okay. All right. This is one I am so hype about. I think both of us have watched the movie. We've never read the book.
Oh, yeah. It's a holiday classic. Of course.
It's a holiday classic.
It's a holiday classic, and it's totally making up for making you guys read this and watch this.
Yeah, this is the other end of the spectrum, for sure.
Definitely.
And this is one where we have an Excel spreadsheet where we add all of our, like, book to movies. And I went to add it, and you already had. And I'm like, I love her.
Yeah. This is why we're best friends.
Yeah, so we are going to do Nothing Lasts Forever and Die Hard.
Ow! Yes!
Insert air horn.
That's my air horn.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. I think we'll really enjoy the next round.
Yeah.
Let's see if we cry.
Everything makes us cry. It's the holidays. Nakatomi Plaza. Let's do this.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you everybody for listening, and we always want to give our sincerest gratitude to Jesse Thompson, our sound engineer.
Yay, Jesse.
Yay, thank you.
He's who I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, well, we're married, so I have to. Oh.
Aw.
No, he's going to edit that one out. No, but seriously, Christina, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
And everyone, you know, keep wearing your masks.
Yeah.
Use your library card. And we will be back here in December to just make up for all of this.
Yep. Lots of guns.
Yeah. Don't forget to take your shoes off.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.